prefers bottom-up planning? Who prefers the combined approach? Who prefers top-down? Oh. Okay, so you are all supporters of top-down and bottom-up. What are advantages and what are disadvantages of this approach? The combined approach. Maybe. Start with it.
We came to the idea, the assumption if companies are too big, maybe top-down will have some negatives, which will this mix resolve.
What are the negatives?
Like, let's say, huge companies, multinationals, if they operate in more than 20 countries, top-down managers, the executives, will not know exactly what will happen in certain countries. So they need information from, for example, from CEO of certain country.
So limited know-how of top management. I agree. Yeah.
Maybe like an idea for the like jet stream budgeting is maybe as budgeting is a very time-intensive process in general. Like this, combining both aspects of it will take even more time. So it's very intensive, like to collect the data and make this negotiation between management and the different departments.
Yeah, you are right. So this is a negative for the combined approach. Anything else? Yeah. In the last row, you had an idea.
No, it was the same way.
The same?
Yes.
Something else? Pros and cons? Tom?
And maybe bottom up, people lie in the bottom that they spend like 20 million, and then in reality they will spend like 30 million, and that looks better for this division.
And for which approach does this argument apply?
Bottom up.
Bottom up. So what you are referring to is called budgeting slacks. Maybe we could yeah?
Maybe two things for the top down. So one thing is that, for example, you like if you always send the budget from top to down, some divisions, if they face low budgets for a longer period, you will demotivate also the employees or the people working in this division. And also, if you are sending the money from top to down, basically, or have the top-down approach, you might face the issue that you will give money to a division which is not in the end, or might not be necessary or spent, and so they will be spending it or trying to spend it as much as possible to not face the risk in the next budgeting plan to get less, maybe.
You mean allocating of resources means consuming the resources?
I mean, like from my understanding, this is if they see the next year the management, okay, hey, you didn't use your whole budget. We give you last year, so we will give you less in the next year. So they will try to spend all of it on things which might not be sensible to spend it on.
But this depends on about your objective settings, because this is very much your argument very much applies for governmental organizations like our university. We get our funding mainly from Berlin government, and it's annual. And so, of course, if there is some budget left at the end of the year, there is, of course, a tendency to spend it, even if it's not necessarily required, because it might be nice to have. Yeah. But if you do different goal settings, objectives, and incentives for the management, maybe they are incentivized to be below budget because they get some bonus. So it depends a little bit. But yeah, I mean, your idea about allocating resources might be not effective because limited know-how of top management. I approve this idea. Something else?
About the bottom up, I think one of the disadvantages would be the different budget of the separate department might not meet each other. For example, the sales department and the production department, the numbers might not match, and also for the investment department, they might don't know like what the real cash they can use to investment. So
You can coordinate these different departments, and this is exactly the job of management accountants. But it is a job, and it's by the way, it's a job for all the approaches. Because when you do that bottom up and top down, the combined approach, then it's about the same. You still need to coordinate because you should have the same assumptions for sales and productions and so on, and for the research and development department, for example. Yeah.
You would reject the power struggle between lower management and top management.
Power struggle.
Yeah, the lower management and I'm your CEO and I say, this is how you do it. I'm your boss. You cannot refuse me. When I say, you don't do it like I want, then get out, you're fired. I mean,
And if you were the CEO, do you think this is the most effective way to manage a company?
we have the ego, the personality. You may not do it from the topic at all, but
I mean, if this is the way you do the combined approach, I would ask you, why don't you do the top-down approach and leave all this time-consuming efforts. If you feel like the boss, then be like the boss.
I'm making a new measure, let's call me Elon Musk, to have all this employees, and then we go from one to another. Okay, then we will have the jet ski.
Look, here we have the idea of participation. The idea of participation applies for these two approaches. And here is definitely the idea to have the discussion between different management levels, to think about it, to get the knowledge and to exchange the knowledge and to combine the positive aspects. Here, the positive aspect is that it's relatively a smooth process. You don't involve the whole organization in that. The budgeting process is not very resource intense. While here, the whole organization works on the budget. So, if you refer to the discussions, but what you are right is that the combined approach is a matter of negotiation. And whether this negotiation is the most effective way to set the budget, that's questionable. More ideas, please?
Rather than negotiation, I was thinking that maybe you could just focus either on top-down or bottom-up. There's no line of comparison between them, because maybe with the combined approach, you can say, okay, I have my budget that comes from the top, and then what the cost centers may be spending every month or every period. They can have the results and then compare it to what it was planned. So I think it's a matter of comparison too.
Yeah, and tonight, of course. you have the idea, oh, what is the comparison between top down and bottom up, and maybe what are
To
different.
control it. better.
Yeah. Better basis for control.
You said here that the based on negotiation part is a negative, but I would say personally it's more of a positive.
Okay.
Because actually we do it right now in my company, and I feel like it's a very good way with interaction within the company with all the representatives of the cost centers, so they can give their own knowledge, what they are planning to do in the future, and the management then will also get the knowledge what every department is going to do, and according to that they can negotiate the prices or the budgets that are set for the cost centers themselves, and have a better overview about what's going on within the company.
You clearly indicated a positive exchange of know-how.
Yep.
Whether the result of negotiations is always based on know-how or on the negotiation skills, this is another question. So at least it could be negative, could be positive as well. Yes?
In my opinion, the problem with the bottom-up approach would be that each manager would be much more interested in his own project, and so let's say maybe they would want to let's say give more budget to their project than to a project that would benefit the whole company. So.
Okay, a bottom-up project interests, yeah. You mean the interest of the whole company
Versus the interest of departments.
might be neglected because it's based on personal interests. Yeah, very good.